And joining me now to share her thoughts on the COVID-19 scourge, especially now that schools have resumed, is an educationist, Taiwo Alalade. Good to have you join us, Taiwo Alalade. Now, we know that there is now a controversy surrounding the resumption of schools. Yesterday, our correspondents who monitored the reopening, some of them reported partial compliance. Talk to us about your thoughts on resumption of schools amid the second wave of the pandemic.
Okay, thank you for having me. The resumption, I don't think it's too early for schools to resume, as long as schools can comply to these guidelines. But if schools are not really complying, if the pupils are not wearing masks, they are not washing their hands, if there is no social distancing, I don't think it's safe enough. But if all these things can be done, I think it's all right for schools to resume, because we can't continue to stay at home forever. But if they can't, let online classes continue for schools that can do that.
But can we actually say that all of these things have been put in place? There is a school readiness template put in place by the Federal Ministry of Education for both states and at the national level. When you look at all of those, can we say that these things have been put in place?
I don't really think so. Some schools are actually complying, while some are not. For schools that cannot comply, I think it's better for such schools to go online for their pupils to learn, because it's better for you to remain at home and learn online, like for you to come to school and actually contact this virus we are talking about. So I don't think all schools are doing this. But for schools that can do it, let them continue and let them have physical classes.
Right, so there is also now a situation where some states have decided not to reopen. For example, Kaduna State, Edo State, they have decided not to reopen. This situation where we're having staggered reopening of schools, what impact will it have on the learning capabilities of the students?
Okay. For states that are not willing to resume now, I think they are not resuming because they think they can't just comply to these rules. They don't have these things set in place for students' safety. If they don't, then let them go online. Let things be done online. And I don't think there's any barrier to online learning. For schools that can do it, for states that can do online, let them do it. And for those that think they are ready and they have all these things in place, let them continue. Let them have physical classes. There is no hard and fast proof about it. Let's just be sincere. For those that can do physical classes and they think they have all these things on ground, let them resume.
For an education sector like ours, that many already say is challenged, and especially when it comes to funding and infrastructure, talk to us about the long-term impact of this challenge right now we're seeing being posed by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. It's actually caused, there's a lot of costing embedded in this, and for private schools that can afford it, I think they can do it. But for the state public schools, if the states are not willing, I don't think some states they're not just, even if they are willing, they are not just up to the task. And this could lead to some contacts. Students can contact this coronavirus we are talking about. And if they don't have the wherewithal to do these things, let the students remain at home. Let's have some online classes, like Lagos State has that in place. And these states that don't have the wherewithal, they think they cannot afford it. And let them do something about this online classes and let the students continue to learn, because This is January already. First term, can remember, third term, we didn't do much. First term, many people resumed late, many states resumed late, and this is the second term. Let them do something about it. Although it's expensive, I will always say it's expensive, but what is worth doing at all is worth doing well.
So we have just beyond the private schools, even within the private schools, there are those are categorized as the low-income private schools. There are also public schools in rural areas. So it is not just the schools within major cities that we're talking about. So how best, beyond the protocols, how best can we what can we do to keep children safe?
For the low-income schools, it's a pity there's rather little or nothing we can do at this time. Many of them cannot afford online classes, and going to school may be detrimental to their health. So for now, I think it's a helpless situation. Those rural area schools and the low-income schools, I think they have to do without schooling for now, except we have schools on air, like radio, schools on air, like the TV, if you have the children in the rural areas that can afford TV. And they would be able to learn a few things on TV, but definitely not as much as students in the medium income schools or the high income schools.
All right, Educationist Taiwo Alalade, thanks for talking to TVC News.
You're welcome.